Welcome to Wellness Wednesday at the Hiring Our Heroes virtual career community. My name is Marnie Holder, Director of Career Summits and Virtual Events for Hiring Our Heroes, and we're excited to have you with us. We've been doing this program, if you're new to this, we've been doing this programming over the past few months, delivering all of our great information and resources and truly the fabulous partners that we have in this effort through the virtual platform. So we're excited to have you with us today. And we're excited to have you a part of our healthy cooking episode. Just a few admin notes before we get started, before I do introductions. Down at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a Q&A feature. For our presenter today, I asked if you do have a question for her, if you put it in the Q&A feature, and we'll go ahead and tee that up over the course of the presentation. And then we'll be able to use that versus the chat feature to tee up for the rest of the group. All right, let's jump into our health and wellness day and cooking for the whole family. And so I wanted to just highlight Wounded Warrior Project has been a phenomenal partner with us. They've been a part of this effort in what they're doing to shift and pivot into a variety of different spaces, especially in the wellness space, to ensure that they're targeting the balance and well-being of the entire family. And so Anna, who is joining us here today, and she's currently at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, joining us from Fort Bragg. She's going to be talking us through some great tips on some meal planning and some recipes that are going to help with your healthy lifestyle. So I'd like to turn it over to Anna and give you the opportunity to just share more about what Wounded Warrior Project does. Not only in the health and well-being space, but just what you do in getting warriors to work and spouses to work, caregivers to work. You do an awful lot. So Anna Ray, physical health and wellness specialist for Wounded Warrior Project, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Marnie. As you mentioned, hi everyone, I'm Anna, and I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so Fort Bragg. Today we've got a fun presentation coming, but just to talk a little bit first about Wounded Warrior Project and what we do and who we serve. So we honor and empower wounded service members, and it's post 9/11. So if you are injured post 9/11, you can go to our website. There's a button at the top, press join, and you can become a registered alumni with Wounded Warrior Project. Website, woundedwarriorproject.org. Pretty simple to follow along there. But we don't only work with wounded service members, we also work with family members as well. So a lot of the programs and offerings that we have are both for warriors and their family. You can do them together or separate. We offer over 15 different programs and services, and like Marnie mentioned, they range from our Warriors to Work program, so we help with resume building and helping with how to dress for interviews, to benefits help. We also have a huge mental health program where we do multi-day events, but also therapy, like Equine as well. We also just have social engagement events. So if it's just getting the whole family together, something like this, to an event or an activity or a painting class, we do social engagements like that as well. And then what I do, physical health and wellness, we're looking more at the fitness, nutrition, health or sleep health, mobility type of realm. So we offer programs just like this where we go through maybe nutrition, some healthy cooking for the whole family. We have a couple dietitians that we work with that do programming as well for us. We also do in-person and virtual, of course, physical activities where maybe we're teaching a different style workout or teaching you how to use a certain new piece of mobility equipment that you can take home with you and learn how to use. And then we also offer a multi-week coaching program where you get one-on-one coaching as well with a coach just like myself, when we focus on what your goals are fitness and nutrition wise. So that's just a few of the programs that we offer. I know if you have questions about that, feel free to ask, and then we'll get to them at the end as well. Okay, so we can go ahead and move on to today. Healthy cooking for the whole family, and of course for yourself too, so it doesn't have to be a big family to do what we're going to do today. But before we get started, I am going to read a quick nutrition disclaimer. The following video is for demonstration purposes. This is a how to do as opposed to a you should do video. I'm not a doctor, and nothing in this video should be considered medical advice or a substitute for any medical instructions you have received previously. As with any diet or nutrition plan, you should always check with your doctor before beginning to make sure this type of diet and eating is right for you. When trying these nutritional techniques and recipes, always be mindful of any allergies or sensitivities you may have. If you have any type of reaction or feel sick or ill after eating, you should stop immediately and check with your doctor before continuing any meal plans. Everyone is different and individual successes will vary for each of you. Any cooking equipment, food brands, or food types used in this video are standard, and you can use whatever brand or type that you would like, as most are interchangeable. And as Marnie mentioned, this video is recorded, so when I go through the PowerPoints and the slides, you can refer back to the ingredient list instead of just hearing me say them. So to start, I kind of started to put together, well, when you're cooking for a group of people, what is something that you're looking for? I know with busy schedules, even not so busy schedules, there's still a lot going on. So we're looking for something that's maybe quick, something simple, very few ingredients. The less ingredients, the better, especially for someone that's not, the best cook or doesn't claim to be. Maybe something else too that's great for the whole family, something you can customize. So a couple recipes today. If you like something, but maybe your kids don't, or you have that one picky eater that doesn't eat tomatoes, you can leave those out, but still make them for everyone else if they like them. And then also, you can meal prep or make it ahead of time so you can freeze them or just have them in the fridge throughout the week. So then when you're ready to eat them, it's quick, simple, already prepped, and it's something healthy that you can have on hand at any time. Now, I mentioned those picky eaters. What's a couple ways to get those picky eaters to eat something that maybe they should, but they don't want to, is hiding vegetables. So one of our recipes today, it's not really hiding because you can definitely see the broccoli in there, but maybe it's adding a veggie to their favorite dish so they at least get some more nutrients that way. Make it a game or activity. So if you make it something fun, enjoyable, something the entire family can get involved doing, then they're not even going to realize that maybe they're eating healthy food. And then last, maybe let them do it themselves. If that picky eater wants to pick and choose what they put into their meal, then doing it themselves, they're more likely to eat. Or maybe they'll try something new because they made it themselves. So just a few ideas of kind of a general idea of what we're looking for when possibly we're cooking for the entire family. So the next are the recipes that we're going to talk about, and it's a lot. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to show all of them, but really just going to kind of keep to the basics of them. We've got some breakfast recipes, lunch and dinner recipes, interchangeable, and then, of course, a classic ants on a log, but maybe with a twist for dessert or a snack throughout the day. So our first set of recipes we're going to talk about today are our breakfast recipes. Perfect. So 3 recipes today for our breakfast, and this is really just a slide so you can refer back to it and see the ingredients list. I will mention a lot of these recipes, actually all of them, I consider them base recipes. So what I mean by that is that they're the simplest ingredients to start, and then you can build on top of that. So once you've got the base of what needs to go into a recipe, then you can get creative, you can have fun, you can make it that activity, and you can put and customize it to what your family enjoys. All right, so we can go ahead and flip it to full screen, and I'm gonna move this over just so y'all can see me a little bit better. Okay, and I'll go back and forth. Okay. All right, so our first recipes I mentioned 3 different breakfast recipes, and one of them you could do for not just breakfast. But first with egg muffins. So egg muffins, again, something simple, quick. You can put it in the fridge, make ahead of time. You can make an entire dozen, or you can make 2 dozen, and you can freeze them as well. They're great for that. Great thing about eggs, so we'll mention this to start about this and the quiche that I'm going to talk about, is eggs are a great source of protein. So it's great to start your day or even just have that healthy protein snack on hand, because you need protein to help repair those damaged cells in your body. So if you work out, for example, if you lift weights, you get tiny little micro tears along the muscle fibers, but amino acids from proteins can help rebuild those fibers. So it's important to have enough protein in your diet. And eggs especially are a great source of lean protein, and like I mentioned, can be added to any meal, though most of the time we eat them for breakfast. The first recipe I want to talk about are egg muffins. This one, I'm going to say it a ton today, but so quick and easy, and something that you can spend time on a Sunday afternoon, and you have breakfast set for the rest of the week. So you get your 10 minutes back every morning. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and by the time it gets to 350 degrees, you're already done with your egg muffins. So for this, you want to use a non-stick spray and spray your muffin tin. So just like that. If you want to call it something fancy, you could call it maybe an egg frittata. You're going to use some veggies. So right here, I've got some mushrooms, some green peppers, and even some ham. What's great about these as well is that if you have leftover vegetables from a previous meal that you made, or you just are finding things in your fridge, you can add them to this. And then maybe someone in your family loves ham and cheese, but you throw in some mushrooms too, and they get mushrooms and don't even realize it. So you're gonna put in the veggies after you spray it with non-stick spray. Options with the vegetables though, you can saute them beforehand if you want to get that crunch out of them, or you can just keep them raw. The green peppers might still have a little bit of crunch, but if that's okay with you, then it just makes it a little bit quicker and easier for you too. 1 egg cracked, mixed up, should fill 1 muffin tin. You can also have the option to take a whole egg and crack it right on top and get creative with how long you want to cook that egg. Maybe you like a runny yolk, or maybe you want it cooked all the way through. Once you're finished and you fill up your muffin tin with however many you want to make for the day, put it in the oven about 25 minutes. Now everyone's oven is a little bit different, so it might take you a few tries to figure out what the best temperature, amount of time that the egg should be in the oven. But I've got an example here, which I'll move a little closer so you can see what the end product looks like. So this one, a little funky, but this is the one with the cracked egg just right on top. Let's see, I've got this one a little bit fluffier because it's got whole egg, 1 whole egg, and it's tomatoes and mushrooms. And then this one I've added some spinach, and it was just egg white. So it's a little bit thinner than if you use the whole egg. So even I made all of these at the same time. So I just made 4 different types of egg muffins in 1 muffin tin. And now I have breakfast for at least 2 days for just myself. So if you've got, a whole family to feed, this is something great. You can just bake. Again, you can freeze it, heat it back up. You can even sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top as well, if that's something that you want to add after you take it out of the fridge. Okay, I'm going to move this over to make a little bit more room. But next egg option, so keeping it on our protein for the morning, is a crustless egg quiche. Now this recipe, something near and dear to my heart. My mom still makes breakfast quiche every time the family gets together, but her recipe might not be the healthiest. So I took something that I love and made a little bit of a twist to it so I can still enjoy it and think of my family, but also, have a little healthier option. So this one, instead of using a crust, I just did crustless, so no crust at all. If you do want to use a crust, you can buy frozen ones in the frozen section of your grocery store. This recipe will make 2 traditional crusts, so the thinner ones, or 1 deep dish. So this one a little bit deeper of a dish. I was able to use everything and fit it into 1 pan. Again, simple base ingredients: 4 eggs mixed together with 2 cups of milk in 1 bowl. Separate bowl, you take 2 cups of cheese, which if you buy in the package already shredded, then you've already got your 2 cups measured. Mix with 2 tablespoons of flour, and you mix it with the cheese just to keep the cheese from sticking together. And you pour that into your bowl with the milk and the eggs. Once you incorporate the cheese into the milk and eggs, then the fun part, and all of this is fun, adding vegetables, adding meats of choice. About 2 cups is what you'll want. So this recipe right here, I've got red peppers, spinach, mushrooms, and tomatoes in here. So similar to my egg muffins, but in a bigger form. And then I use mozzarella cheese for this one too. So a lower fat cheese option. Again, this one's great because it can be frozen and you can heat it back up when you're ready to have it. You can also cut slices and have a meal for each day of the week. Or it's something that it makes you look really fancy. So if you have guests over, it's something that you can prepare. So again, easy protein option for the morning, low carbs, and something quick and simple. 350 degrees in the oven in about 45 minutes, especially if you're doing the thinner crust or the traditional pie crust. It's going to be about 45 minutes. The deep dish might be longer, but again, just try it out in your oven. See when the eggs are done. You should see the edges start to turn brown, and that can be an indicator that your eggs are done or your quiche is done. And this one too, you could add broccoli and make it more of a lunch option as well. So breakfast and lunch here. I'm gonna set this here. Okay, so those two were lower carbohydrate options. Now I've got one for you for breakfast. Overnight oats. Oats are a great source of fiber, and so fiber can help you maintain a healthy digestive tract, help reduce cholesterol, lowers blood sugars, and lowers your risk of heart disease. Something I really like about overnight oats are that they're actually served cold. So if you're someone that loves hot oats, but it's so hot outside, the thought of eating that and running around sweating in the morning is not something that you want to do right now, then this could be your answer. So I'm gonna actually make two right in front of you just to show you how simple and quick it can be. And just like the egg muffins and the quiche, really, you could meal prep these, make a few, or you can make 6 at once so then you have a few days of food in the fridge. But it starts out with a ½ cup of oats. And something I do to just make it a little bit easier is I keep my ½ cup measuring cup in my canister with my oats, so I never have to question what a serving is, especially if maybe you're watching your calories right now, or you are, but your family doesn't care, but this is still going to keep you from eating 2 servings and not even realize it. So ½ cup of oats. Now the only tricky part of this recipe is it's a 1-to-2 ratio of your oats to your liquid. So what that means is a ½ cup of oats and a cup of liquid. Options here. You can use all milk, you can use all yogurt, or you can do half and half. It really depends on the consistency that you want. If you want to do a little bit thicker type oats, then maybe you're an all yogurt or 3/4 a cup of yogurt and a 1/4 cup of milk. And if you like it a little bit runnier, you can always add more milk. So you're going to add your yogurt to it. And today I've got vanilla Greek yogurt. So again, a lower sugar option. The vanilla does add some flavor. So something you can do with these is you can add honey or agave to it. But I feel if you use vanilla flavored yogurt, and I have vanilla, unsweetened vanilla almond milk here, it also adds that flavor so you don't have to add any extra sugar to it. So I'm going to add my unsweetened vanilla almond milk to my 2 bowls right here. And I promise when you have 6 of these laid out, it makes it so much quicker and you can just mix it all up at once. So then I like to incorporate the milk and the yogurt with the oats. And the oats are actually going to thicken once they're in the fridge. And I have an example that I put in this morning just so you can see. All right, so there's my base recipe. You could call it quits right at that. Or you can start to add a little bit more. So cinnamon is an option. If maybe it's fall and you're feeling pumpkin spice, that can always be an option too. So you can add cinnamon. Cinnamon is a great source. It's an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. So it's great to have and mix it in with oats in the morning. You don't have to think about, making it a main dish or adding it to a main dish. Some options, and this is where you can maybe try something new or get creative. I've got chia seeds and some ground flax. Again, chia seeds and flax are great sources of omega-3 fatty acids. They're tiny, but they do a lot for you. So it's great to add it in something like this, where it's not overpowering the dish, but you're still getting the healthy benefits that they have to offer. And again, you can add a little bit. These, you can add a lot, depending on what you like. You can make it for someone in your family that wants these in there, and then again, you don't have to add them if someone in your family doesn't like them. Then fruit comes next. So a way you can reduce costs too, when you're looking at these recipes, if you think healthy food is expensive, you can look at fruit, and we talk about vegetables, you can look at those that are in season. So looking at berries, or the veggies that are in season will also help reduce the cost when you're trying to eat healthier for the whole family. So with this, you can throw in the fruit. An option with the fruit too is you can add this before if you want it to be incorporated with your milk and yogurt, or you can wait until right before you're about to eat it, so the next morning, and add it that way. Last option here for some healthy fats, I've got some unsalted walnuts and unsalted almonds. So you can add this again before you put it in the fridge, or you can add it after. just depending on your preference, if you want the nuts to stay crunchy or if you don't care if they're a little bit soft. So then you'll mix that all up. And I've got 2 breakfasts, and it took me probably less than 5 minutes to make these. Got a little container, I can pop the lid on. And they should go in your fridge for at least 4 hours, but overnight is probably best, just so you can make it at night, have it the next day, but also you can keep them in the fridge for a few days, depending on how much you like the consistency and if your fruit stays fresh. So I've made them before on a Sunday, and I haven't had them last till Thursday. So it really just depends on what you like, and the more you practice and try these, the more that you'll like them as well. And I'll show you an option for just my cold option so you can see it too. I have it right here. So once it's in the fridge, you can see how it kind of thickens up right there. And that's just based on your preference of consistency. Okay, so there's my breakfast. All right, we can move on to our lunch and dinner options. Okay, so 3 recipes again. And these, I kind of break into lunch or dinner or both, depending on what you like and what your family likes, and maybe what you have time for too. So first one, whole wheat English muffin mini pizza. This one is really fun and something you can make into an activity. Broccoli, mac and cheese, that's my example of showing, okay, maybe you can sneak a vegetable into someone's favorite dinner. And the last is stuffed peppers, and these you can make into so many different styles, depending whether, you know, if it's a Taco Tuesday and you want to make a taco theme out of it, or if you want to focus on Italian, we can change it up that way too. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you how to make is the English muffin pizza. I'm going to grab that. You can go ahead and flip. Perfect. Okay. And I kind of have it prepped here just to make it a little bit easier. So this one, very simple. All you need, whole wheat English muffins. You slice them in half, put them in the toaster or the oven just to get them a little bit crispy on the bottom, which I've already done, so you can see that. This is a great, you can put all the ingredients out, have everyone come, make their own pizza. And again, if someone doesn't like mushrooms or doesn't like spinach, you don't have to add it. You can make it a plain cheese pizza here. You're gonna add your sauce, maybe you put your veggies on the bottom. I've got mushrooms and some spinach. Maybe you can even sneak in vegetables here and then add your cheese on top. So again, just sprinkling a little bit of cheese. And then since the bread is already toasted, you can just put it back in the oven for 30, 45 seconds or so, depending on how much you want to melt the cheese. And it's very, very quick and simple. And here's dinner, right? How quick was that? I did one beforehand just so I could show you how fun you can make it. You can add a smiley face, and the olives make it perfect for that. Something else when I was doing this recipe, I thought about, obviously kids are in school now, it's summer, but they make pizza Lunchables, right, that you can take to school. You can make yourself a healthier option. So with this, you've got a container, I've got my sauce on one side, the cheese, and maybe my already toasted English muffin. So now, when the kids get to school, or if you get to school, I mean, this is fun. I would do this at work. You can add your sauce to your pizza, put your cheese on top, pop it in the microwave, and now you've got a healthy pizza option at work. So you're not so tempted maybe to eat out every day. So that's just another option there. Okay, so the second recipe for dinner that I had planned, I'll just scoot this here out of the way. The second recipe was our broccoli and cheddar cheese mac and cheese. So this is one where if you've got someone that loves mac and cheese, and I love mac and cheese, but I was trying to maybe think of a way to make it a little bit healthier. So something I like to do is if I'm craving something and maybe you're looking for recipes online, okay, what can I do to see a recipe and what can I use as an alternative to make it a healthier option? So that's what I did with this recipe. So broccoli, mac and cheese. Very simple here, and I've even got it written out. First thing with the noodles, easy change up from your regular white noodles, whole wheat noodles, or they make vegetable noodles, or today I even found lentil noodles. So these are a great source of protein. So if you're looking for a plant-based protein, I've got the box. These are pasta, red lentil. And I promise you probably can't even taste the difference or notice the difference once it's coated in cheese. Broccoli, fresh broccoli, you're gonna wanna cut it up, take off the stems, so you just have the tops of the broccoli, and then you're gonna wanna steam that. So to make it quick and easy, you can steam the broccoli while you boil the water and then add the pasta to it just by reading the directions on the box. Once that's complete, then you'll take an onion and garlic. And something I found that's great for mincing garlic, because again, all about being quick, about being easy, and I don't have a mincer, is if you've got a cheese grater or something like this, you can just take your garlic and put it right on top and put it right into the dish. And there's an easy option there to save you some time from having to cut your garlic into little pieces, and to save some money by buying the whole garlic versus buying the already pre-minced garlic. So that's just an option. You'll do that with a diced onion. So you dice the onion with the garlic, put it in your pan. If you've got something that looks like this, so a sort of Dutch oven with a lid, I'm all about not doing dishes. So I steamed the broccoli in there, took the broccoli out, put some olive oil, added the garlic, added the onion, sauteed that until the onions were about done. Then I added a cup and a half of milk, and I use skim milk again for this recipe. And then the not so healthy part, but maybe the best part, is our cheese. So 4 cups of cheese, and if you buy it already in the bags, then you don't have to measure it, so that's one less thing that you have to do. Pour it in there, and then 2 tablespoons of cornstarch just to help thicken the sauce. Stir it until it gets thickened. Then once that's warm and incorporated and all the cheese is melted, you'll add your broccoli, your freshly steamed broccoli, and your pasta of choice. And come out with a dish that looks like this. See, I have it prepped for you. I didn't want to take the chance of cutting anything in front of y'all today. But this, super simple and really good. And honestly, with the lentil pasta, I hadn't tried it before. You really can't tell a difference. So if you're looking for a plant-based protein, throw it in mac and cheese, and this is an option for you. So maybe you're thinking, well, that's not the healthiest because it's got a lot of cheese. Well, then I started to backtrack and think, well, what's in normal mac and cheese or mac and cheese we've made in the past? A lot of butter, maybe some breadcrumbs. So because that doesn't have that, it's already in the step in the right direction to make it healthier, right? And we're adding some vegetables, so this can really be a whole meal in one. So I'll set that up here. And it makes a huge amount. So again, you can have it for dinner, have some lunches the next day. All right, the last recipe is the stuffed pepper. And again, this one, I did make it beforehand because I wasn't gonna test. You don't need to see me flipping anything in this kitchen. But stuffed peppers, and maybe this is something you've done before. Maybe this is something you haven't done before. So with our stuffed peppers, you can use green, you can use orange, you can use red, whichever you prefer. The orange and red ones might be a little bit sweeter for you. And cut the top off, but you can save the top and cut it into little chunks and then use them as chips maybe for hummus. So then you already have pre-cut chips in the fridge for your hummus, healthy alternative to chips, that is. So I saved that, so you're not wasting anything in this recipe. I'm using whole grain brown rice and some sort of ground meat. So this is ground chicken, but you could also use ground turkey as a lighter alternative. I've got corn in here, and I did use some cumin and some spices to make it more of like a taco in a bowl. To make it fun and family friendly, I don't know if you can see it on here, but I did cut a smiley face into my pepper. So then maybe someone in the house will be more likely to eat it if it's smiling back at you. That was my thought. Also around Halloween, if jack-o'-lanterns, you could always do an orange one and make a pumpkin face on it too. So that's an option. They make little individual guacamoles, so you could add that to the top, sprinkle some cheese, heat it up when you're ready to eat it. So that's an option to have something healthy for you for lunch or dinner, especially if you're making them ahead of time and you just want to come home and heat it up. So this one I use cumin, but you could change it and use marinara. You could put mozzarella on it to make it more of an Italian style, or you could put some teriyaki or soy sauce to change it, again, to change it to more of an Asian flavor. So this, lots of different ways that you can make this and make it for your family, just based on what they like. Okay, so my last ones I'm going over, I'm flipping now to desserts and snacks. Okay, and super simple, 2 recipes. And again, just a base recipe, so then you can change and add what you like. So ants on a log, maybe that's a classic that we haven't had in a long time, but maybe we're gonna add a little bit of a twist to it today. And then frozen yogurt blueberries. I know they sound interesting. So I'll grab what we need for the ants on a log, and then we can start making them, start prepping. Okay, thank you. All right, so last ones here, ants on a log. I haven't had these since I was a kid, and I thought, okay, I didn't like raisins, and that's why I didn't like these, but whoever said you had to put raisins on them? So for this, optional nut butter, so you can use peanut butter. Actually, if you find a nut that typically has less, if you are counting calories, you are going to want to measure out an actual serving of peanut butter, because I know it is so easy to just stick a giant spoon in there and spread it out. You could use almond butter, you could use sunflower butter, anything that you like, you could use for these. So just like back in the day, you take it, we're putting our, I guess, our dirt on the log. But to make it a little more fun and maybe making it dessert, we're not going to use raisins. Maybe today we decide to use blueberries. So adding a little bit of sweetness to it because we have them. And then also another option, you're going to say it's not healthy, put some chocolate chips. So why make dessert an entire focus? Why not just put it in a healthy meal, and so it's a part of a meal? So you can sprinkle your little chocolate chips on top, and now you've got peanut butter, chocolate chips, and you could even do some coconut and make it snow on a log. So really with this, it's just, you can get creative with it, add what you like, and again, add what the people in your family like and what they want to have as their dessert or their snack, or something, just a little sweet pick-me-up in the middle of the afternoon. Okay, and the last recipe is my yogurt frozen blueberries. So I did make them beforehand because frozen, but I'll show you. I used the yogurt I already had, so maybe it's something that you have just enough left, but maybe not enough for a meal. You could dip your blueberries into your yogurt, and it's kind of hard to see back here. Perfect. So I did use some wax paper so it wouldn't stick, but put your blueberries in your yogurt, put it in the freezer for a couple hours. You do maybe want to let them thaw just a little bit, but if you're craving something cold, something sweet, and maybe you would typically go towards ice cream at night, this is a great healthy alternative to have. So you're still getting a little bit of sweetness from the vanilla yogurt, and then also the blueberry, but it's more of a natural sweetness. I've also had frozen grapes, not dipped in yogurt, but just to try them, and they're not bad either. It gives you something cold to kind of to bite into, so you can get that feeling of eating something sweet at night, but it's not completely the worst thing for you or going to keep you from falling asleep. So that was probably too quick, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask Marnie or put it in the Q&A. That's really all the recipes that I have to go over today. And again, it will be recorded so you can refer back to just the base recipes and then customize it and see what your family really likes about it. So I'll go back to my seat and I'll help answer any questions that we've got.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Appreciate that. You have me inspired to tackle all these recipes and more. No, appreciate it. We didn't have any questions come in, but tossing it out to our participants, if you do have a question for Anna, I'm happy to ask it on your behalf if you put it in the Q&A feature. I can start it out. So you gave us some great recipes today. Is there another location where people could look for more recipes, or what do you recommend as far as some options to research these healthy types of recipes?
So I guess one thing I did mention, well, if you do join Win the Warrior Project, we do offer a lot of these, and you have a physical health and wellness coach in your region that you could email them and say, hey, I'm interested in learning about this or these types of recipes, and we can send them to you. And we're constantly offering different online opportunities for you to learn new recipes and ask questions. My little sneaky trick, I guess, is I look at recipes that are already out, maybe on the internet, and then what can I do to make them a healthier option? So switching from white bread to whole wheat, or using low-fat milk or less cheese, or if it calls for butter, maybe I'm only putting half amount in, or only using half the amount of sugar it calls for. So making small alternatives like that to recipes to make them a healthier alternative. And I will say, when it comes to healthy eating, it's not something you just need to wake up one morning and immediately switch, flip the switch and you have to start with healthy eating. You can slowly ease into it. So if you're used to, I use this example, if you love coffee and you love it with cream and sugar, why, and you want to cut that sugar out in the morning, if you immediately cut it out, you're not going to like the taste of coffee. But if you slowly cut back on the amount of creamer you add, eventually you'll get to where you're not using any creamer, and maybe you'll actually like the taste of coffee, or your body's going to get used to it. But if you immediately put it in shock, it's a little bit harder to sustain that healthy alternative.
Yeah, no, great advice. I use that too. I used to be one of those that did creamer in my coffee and flavored coffees all the time. And now I actually prefer it black. So that works for me. Great suggestion. We don't have any other questions that have come in the feature, but happy to elaborate or give you more time to share anything else that, even cooking wise or health and well-being wise, any other advice you have?
It's really putting me on the spot now. I'm just kidding. I guess the biggest thing is it's never too late to start. And if you have a bad day, it doesn't mean that you can't have a better day the next day. So even if it's hard to sustain, maybe eating healthy or exercising for the first time, start slow. Something we always suggest is, or we talk about, is if you go too much too fast, you're much more likely to quit early. So if you really start slow, and maybe, okay, you're just gonna meal prep breakfast. So you saw these egg muffins today and that looks attainable. That's something you can do. Okay, you know what, for the next couple weeks, I'm gonna stick with this healthy breakfast and just see how I feel before changing lunch and dinner. And then you slowly change to, okay, I'm gonna do breakfast and lunch, and then maybe dinner, and then maybe, all right, wow, Monday through Friday, I'm eating really well. If I wanna, cheat a little on the weekend, that's okay, in moderation, right? So just take it slow and don't be afraid to try, is my best advice. And don't give up. It's never too late to start. And just because you ate that ice cream because it was sitting there, it doesn't mean the rest of your day or a week is ruined. So you can always revert back to that healthy eating and healthy options for you and your family.
Yeah, no, I found the same. And a lot of friends and others that are in kind of the healthy nutrition space have said the same thing. You got to give yourself a little bit of a cheat. You can't do too much too fast. It won't be sustainable. The crash diets or all of the bad things. You just really need to be mindful of moderation is key. And don't ever rule anything out of your diet. If you feel like you want that ice cream, just make sure the portion size is controlled. But
yes.
Don't. And like you said, the whole routine and weaning yourself off things, it gets to the point where sometimes you don't even crave it anymore. And you just get to the point where you start to crave other things. So great advice for sure. All right, one more chance for our participants to ask any questions that they have. All right, well, I appreciate your time today, Anna, and appreciate everything that you did share with us. I don't know if we're able to, Brooke, put back up a resource slide, or if we had the slide from, there we go, for Hiring Our Heroes. If you wanted to get a recording of this session or any other sessions, especially if you're looking for the recipes that Anna was referring to, you can go back to this recorded session. If you're looking to attend any of our upcoming events, programming Monday through Friday, please go to the website on here to register for those. We do have some hiring fairs, virtual hiring fairs coming up. So if you're looking to get connected to employers, we're happy to help. And we have a lot of employers that are hiring. So please go to our website to see the upcoming events, both the hiring events and all of our career community sessions, webinars, training, and education forums. So appreciate everyone joining, and thanks again to Wound Aware Project and to Anna. We look forward to having you join us again.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Be well, everyone. Thanks.